had some early successes in the trailer world. The placement was one thing, but the recording was like drugs. I was like hooked. I just knew that I needed to do orchestra stuff. I actually like knocked on Hans Zimmer's door. I don't recommend doing that. What's up, Austin Fray? Welcome to Carter House Studio. I really fell in love with like the Dark Knight score, Gladiator when I was younger, and that really got me focused in on film music. And that kind of like really collects the worlds of jazz, rock, electronic, maybe not so much jazz, but there's definitely an eclectic sense in film music as far as the harmonics of it. That translating into the orchestra. I was passionate about that all through college, but eventually I had like an internship with the trailer music company. Confidential Music, which is run by John Hansen and Kyle Bien. Still write for them on occasion. That really clicked and showed me like what was possible with like cinematic music, and that it wasn't a pipe dream, that like there's people doing it. That kind of just gave me the tools and like the ear to take my music to the next level, and they really helped me a ton with that. I had some early successes in the trailer world. So they were doing trailer music. I had a placement that really just kicked off my career and showed me that like it was truly possible. And so I got the bug from that, and it took me to LA.
What was that, and how old were you?
Yes, I was 20, I think. It would have been 2014, and it was the theatrical trailer for Unbroken. I read the book before it was ever a movie.
Yeah.
And I knew the movie was coming out, I was stoked. And then I get a phone call one day when I'm at a different internship, and they're like, hey, they just placed your music. Kyle and John like did a good amount of work on that. Like looking back on it 10 years later, I'm like, oh man, they really like pushed that to the next level, over
That's
the line.
so exciting at 20.
Yeah, when I was 20. So like I went to like the movies with my friends, and like it played before, I think like Rise of the Planet of the Apes or something. That was surreal. I think by then like my sights were kind of on LA. I just knew that I needed to do orchestra stuff. So I did one track for one of the releases one time, and they recorded it at East West, where you worked.
That's right.
So
That's great.
I got to see my music performed by a 35-piece string orchestra in Studio One.
Yeah.
In like full brass. And that completely changed my life.
What year was that?
2015, spring of 2015. Weezer was there, yeah. Spring 2015.
I was there, because I was on, that was Jake Sinclair was producing that in Studio 2.
Yep.
Yeah, we did that okay, so yeah, I was there till 2016.
Yeah, we were in 3 and 1.
Yeah.
We did like low winds and low strings in Studio 3.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, we were at the same time.
Small little world.
Yeah.
Well, that changed my life.
Wow.
Like hearing that recording, the placement was one thing, but the recording was like drugs. I was like hooked.
Did you stand in the live room while they played it?
Oh yeah, I sat in the chair in the back during the brass, which was like hair-raisingly powerful. We had 10-piece brass, like 6 horns, 4 low brass. Yeah, it was game over after that, and actually like knocked on Hans Zimmer's door. I don't recommend doing that. But I did that during that trip, and kind of knew like the right name to ask for through a friend that had done it, like the internship. And the front desk worker like kind of broke protocol. I won't say who it is, but I went on to work with them, and we talked about it after the fact. So that led to an internship, which led to like various chance happenings. I got a job as an assistant for one of the companies at the property where Hans Zimmer works, and that he owns Bleeding Fingers Music, was where it kind of got my start. There's an unfortunate thing that happened with a guy I was working for in his personal life, and there was a moment where I needed to kind of like step in and pick up some slack. Yeah. And that was noticed. That turned into a full-time job, like a promotion to be a composer for them. Yeah. And then that was in the end of 2015, right after college, which I was not at all prepared for that gig. The orchestral recording happened right at the tail end of college. Wow. I was actually assisting Charlie Peacock in his studio. He said some really great like just words of advice that have stuck with me to this day. Really wise man. But we could tell that like I wasn't the right fit for that world. Yeah. And he was very kind about it. But I was not a good assistant. Like, I had too much to say, you know. And I think more after the fact, I'm like realized that I'm like, oh man, he really put up with a lot. He knew how much I was into film music and all that, and he was good enough, he was kind enough to really lead me towards that and to like give me some feedback and like, you should say no to this and say yes to this. And so I had like a job lined up with an animation company in Dallas, but he was like, don't do that, go work for Hans for free, which I did, which was making coffee and taking out the trash and ordering his sushi. But still, it gets you in the environment to where the ceiling's much higher there. Or if you go to Dallas to go take a staff gig as a composer at an animation company, you have no camaraderie of musicians. You just have a bunch of animators. But if you go to like remote control productions with like 50 full-time studios running with all the best composers in the world, like that's debatable. But yeah, there's so much energy and so much you can learn. That was a really influential part of my story.
Hey, thanks for checking out this clip. If you're setting up your own studio and you have any questions about how to hook things up, what to plan for, what gear you are thinking about getting, how you want to go about it, you can schedule a call with me at andrewmastersmusic.com. It's a one-on-one, 1-hour consultation where you can ask me anything you want. The link is down in the description. Go schedule your call today. And if you're just chilling and you want to subscribe or watch another clip,